Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Authenticity, or coffee, if you're me, with Jera. This is a daily live stream I do around 10 o'clock most days of the week, in which we talk about authenticity skills and themes that come up in our lives. I'd really love for this to be a conversation, so if you're watching this live, feel free to comment as we go along. And if you watch this later on Facebook or YouTube, feel free to comment down below so we can have a continuing conversation about this stuff that comes up. So first of all, if you've been following, you know that last night was our first MVC practice group here in Eugene, and it was absolutely awesome. We had several amazing people there, including another MVC leader in the community, which was amazing to have other leaders there. So I imagine that as we go on, it's just going to become better and better, and I'm really excited about that. So thank you all for making that happen, and I hope to see you there next time. I want to move on today to today's topic, which is judgment and curiosity, or curiosity and judgment. And these for me are sort of polar opposites of each other. And in our world, because of the high levels of toxicity that we experience, if you hear the tip tapping, it is my assistant in the background. He's hard to get to settle down. Anyway, our society is really full of a lot of toxicity and a lot of violence in the way that we have defined it, which is anything that pulls or pushes anyone off their own path of self-will, in my book. And by my definition is violence. So we experience this so often that our reaction to society, to other people, to social circumstances, to ideas from other people, even our own ideas, tend to be ones of judgment. It's like we're sort of programmed to be judgmental. And we hear that all the time in our heads, right? That judge is way loud in there, just going all the time. You're too big, too little, too this, too that, not enough this, the not enoughness, right? Just constant noise of that judge. So the judgment is happening constantly inside our heads, and that is extremely damaging. And it's also very damaging to hold judgment with each other. This leaves no room for connection, because you're automatically saying, I'm in a place where I'm capable of passing judgment on you. We're in two different places. And, you know, there may be truth to being in a couple different places socially, but to pass that judgment on someone else, to elevate yourself beyond them, because you have this idea that you have more knowledge, or the better idea, the more right idea. It's just a fabrication. It's an illusion. And it's extremely damaging. And it's just something that we're all so used to doing. I mean, I do it seriously all the time in my head still. You know, I'll have judgments for myself, or, you know, be in traffic and be like, oh my God, what is wrong with these people? Why are they just go, go, go all the time? Why can't they slow down? Those are judgments. And it's something that constricts our energy, right? It's like, it's a way in which we bind ourselves and condense ourselves and restrict ourselves is with that judgment. By trying to keep ourselves safe with that judgment, we end up like pulling the rest of the world in on us and making it very tight. And when we have that tight constriction, there's no room for growth. It's just like we're held there. We might feel safe, which we're not. We might feel safe, but we're in this really tiny little constricted box. What I would posit is that the better option is to approach everything, as much as we can, with a sense of curiosity. It's with curiosity that we can open, you know, that constriction stops. And instead we're sending our tendrils of curiosity out. And yes, this feels super vulnerable. Yeah, it's not gonna feel as safe as sitting on our throne of judgment. Not at all. And other people will use their judgment still on us and our state of curiosity, and that feels threatening and it feels vulnerable. Absolutely. But is it still a more healthy way to handle our thoughts and feelings and needs and the way we move through the world? Yes. I used to be afraid. Actually, fear is one of the things I've dealt with most of my life. And I used to be extremely afraid of being wrong, extremely afraid, I mean, to a very extreme degree, of being called out for doing this, that, or the other thing, for being wrong, for being too much, for being too little, whatever. And that really held me in a state of not being able to fully go into my power. It was like I was constantly like, what's going to shield me? What's going to keep me safe? And what I realized is that I'm not here to just stay safe. You know, I mean, safety is important, but what's, I think, more important for my life and the way I've just lived in my life is to go out and be the light, right? Be that big, booming, beautiful light in the darkness. Don't hide my light away, saying, oh, don't look at my light, don't look at my light, but rather let it shine. Because as I let it shine, everybody else feels more confident to light their lights. And then all of our darkness gets to be brighter. And so, yeah, curiosity, coming from a place of curiosity with people, with circumstances, with ourselves, instead of a place of judgment, is really hard. It's very vulnerable. And I still think it's the healthier way to handle things. And if there's still doubts, think about a time that somebody's passed judgment on you, and maybe even a family member, you know, for you just being you, or you doing what you needed to do, or having to say no, or whatever it was, doing something wrong, making a mistake. Think about how that felt to be judged in that way, to have no one ask a question first, just be like, you must have been, you did, with that kind of energy. Like, it just feels gross. It feels wrong, you know? And at the same time, as gross and wrong as that feels, we'd go ahead, all of us go ahead and turn around and do that to other people as well, because it feels safe, it feels powerful to be able to say, oh, I know what's right and wrong, and obviously I'm right and you're wrong, or you're not doing it right, you know, or you must not have all the whatever. And the basic fact is we're all doing the best that we can with what we have. And if we come around with a sense of curiosity, we ask questions. How was that experience for you? How did that feel? What was going through your mind at that time? Like, where was your rationale for that? If we ask those opening questions, and that's an extension of ourselves and saying, hey, I want to know more. I want to know who you are. I want to know why that happened for you and how it happened for you. I'm curious. And from that curiosity, we may still make decisions for ourselves that create some separation between us and someone else. You know, that information that we get from that sense of curiosity may answer questions that then we need to create some boundaries with people. But we know that those boundaries through that sense of curiosity are healthy. When we come from a place of judgment and that blaming, sort of shaming place, then for me at least, it's really hard to parse out, did I put that boundary up out of a reactivity of my own judgment? Or did I put that boundary up because I came from a centered place of understanding the entire situation and was like, you know, this energy doesn't really work for me. I need to create this boundary of space. So there's lots of benefits for choosing curiosity over judgment. And just the biggest one is that it's the kinder, gentler, more expansive way to be. And if we're all more of that, if every one of us makes those decisions, those big decisions for us, and that small drop of water in the bucket all the way around the world, we can make a huge difference. And it's already happening. The young people in the world are already showing us that this works. So today, the challenge is to find a moment where judgment comes up. It will happen. If you think it won't happen, it absolutely will. It happens for all of us every day. So find just one moment, just one. You don't have to change everything that you are in this today, you know, just pick one time where you're like in that place of judging someone else. Stop yourself and say, okay, what questions can I ask? What questions can I ask for better understanding? Period. That's it. And you don't even have to ask the questions, you know? Don't if it doesn't feel comfortable. But stop yourself in a moment of judgment and think about what questions you could ask for better understanding, because that's the first step. And that first step is always the hardest to take. So that's it for today. And thank you so much for joining me. If you joined me live, thank you. I see we have a couple people coming in today. And if you haven't, if you missed this live, it'll be on both on my Facebook pages and on YouTube. And next week, on Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock at East Blair Housing Co-op, if you're here in Eugene, will be a polyamory discussion group. So we're going to do NVC one week, poly the next week. So poly will be next week. If you are curious about what poly is and want to hear from poly people, or if you're a poly person and want to discuss all the crazy amount of stuff that comes up in our lives, feel free to join us. It's $5 suggested donation, and I can't wait to see you there. So until tomorrow, stay authentic, everybody. Have a wonderful day.